Welcome to the weekly training. We're going to look at the quarterfinal games. Across the state, quarterfinals went very well. There were no major complaints, no glaring issues. That being said, just remember when we look at stuff on this tape, training video, if your crew's on here and we pick something out, we're not saying the whole crew did a bad job. We're not saying not saying it was a poorly officiated game. Even the best crews, they miss something. The best officials make mistakes. So if you see your crew on here or you on here, don't think we're pinpointing out and saying you did a bad job. We're just pulling stuff out, something we can all learn from. And chances are, if you're on this tape, you probably already know. And you could probably get done something a little bit better. So that being said, we're just going to move forward and get in here. So this we're going to look at. I think this is a block below the waist on the interception. Yeah, we got the interception. We got block below the waist right there. It looks like we pick it up, which is good. Good call by the wing official there. Then the end zone view gives you a good. It's going to give you a good view of reverse mechanics here. Here you got the. Ideally, if you're a wing guy, maybe if you can backpedal here. As you can see, he's running and then having to turn around there. So if you can get in a back pedal just like you're a deep guy, it just gives you a better angle. But good call on picking that up. I would maybe, you see how the receiver throws, how the guy throws the ball, the player throws the ball in the air like that. You may want to consider popping that as well. We want to allow, I think the expression was youthful exuberance. But throwing the ball sky high in the air like that, you may want to consider popping him for UNS right there, especially when that ball comes down. It's kind of dangerous. But the crew does a good job of reverse mechanics here. They get the low block. So good job all around right there. Alright, this is a rare occurrence. But this is the fabled, yet rarely seen free kick after a fair catch. So we just want to look at the alignment. As you can see, you got the white hat. He's in the back behind the kicker, kind of like an umpire would be on a regular kickoff. The head linesman, cage restraining line, which in this instance was the 50. White hat blows it in for play, just like a normal play. You can see the line judge is on ours restraining line. See the U on the goal line and 2 D's underneath the uprights. And then, as you can see, the ball goes in. So, this is rarely seen, but we hear about it all the time. So, the crew did a good job of where it's set up. It's one of those, since we don't do it much, we don't talk about it much, sometimes we're a little confused at how we set up. But the crew did a good job here. Good communication here would help you in this as well, kind of communicating. But you got some time to set it up, so communication and all that, make sure everyone's in the right position. And remember, if this ball does not cross the goal line, R can return it. If it does cross the goal line but does not go through the uprights, then it's R's ball on 20, just like a regular touchback. Now look at this right here on the 40. This is a good example of not a blindside block. A good job of the officials to not call it. He's going to come in, defender's not going to see it coming, but it's not a real forceful hit. I can't tell if he uses his hands or not, but it's not a real forceful hit Looks like he gets his hands out there a little bit. But this initiates contact with the shoulder. But again, that's not a forceful hit. Well, I don't want to go on record as saying if they don't hit him to the ground, then we're not going to have it. But I think going to the ground, I don't want to make a blanket statement and say, yeah, go to the ground to have forceful, or if it doesn't go to the ground, it's not forceful. But we can use it as a good indicator. So it was a good job laying off the blindside block there. This was, sorry about that. This was the last play of the game. Clock's going to run out on this play. As you can see, defense is set up for the last play. So we're going to have the interception, and then we got a blindside block right there, and then let's look at the top sideline. We're going to have an official run into a coach. Let's look at each one. There's your blindside block. We can argue the forcefulness of that. Like I said, I'm not going to go on. I don't want to go on record, make a blanket statement, and say if they're hit to the ground, we got to call it a forceful. But it has elements. Doesn't see it coming. No open hands. Judgment call there would be a forceful hit. It does knock him out of play, so the merit's definitely there. As we look at the top here, clearly going to run into a coach. That's dangerous for officials. It's a good job of calling that. Now let's talk about this. Like I said, this was the end of the game. Last play, when all this happens, there is no time left on the clock. So you got 2 fouls on what's essentially B, or the return team, however you want to call them. So the options here are, coach can decline both penalties, and we're just going to end the ball game. Or what happened here, the coach accepts the penalties, and we got to run a 1 time down. You can't just end the game like this, because you would have what we would call unfinished business. You've got to force, if they accept the fouls, then we got to do something. You can't just end the game like that. So you got to run a play if fouls are accepted. The blindside block is 15 yards. It's a live ball foul. Running into the coach is enforced as a dead ball foul. So what you had was, we just marked it off. 15 yards and half the distance, or 250 yards, whatever, running untimed down. So good job there, the crew did it right. And it's just a weird ending to a game. We're going to have, back it up a little bit, right? We're going to look around this area. Blocking the back was the call. And then one of the questions is, could you have blindside block? And as we said in the camp, if it's a forceful block in the back, then yes, you can have a blindside block. And this play is a good example of multiple angles, being in the right angle to pick up a foul. Because to be honest with you, when I first saw this, I wasn't convinced it was in the back. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Because when I saw that angle and the previous angle, I wasn't convinced it was in the back. Umpire throws on it. But when I watched the end zone view, which is the view essentially that the umpire had when he made the call, I was then sold on it. So you see he's going to come right in the back and push him out of the way of the blocker. A good call by the umpire there. Good job of being in a position to see that. As you can see in the freeze frame, he gets him square in the back, pushes him out of position. Umpire's got a good angle, looking right at it, throws it. Good job by the umpire. And like I said, it's one of those where angles are everything. Because when I first saw the side angles, I wasn't convinced, but that end zone angle, it really sells it. Good job by the umpire picking that up, being in position, and making that. Wrong slide. Ignore that slide. All right, so this is a weird play. So we essentially have trips to one side here. You got the wide out, you got a flanker, and you got a slot back. So you got no keys over here. The deep official, he could, I guess, come over and take this. So, which is your deep over here has this wide out, and he's got the flanker. So if you got nothing going on, this is one of those. What's the deep gonna do? So if we watch the eligible receiver right here, as he's coming off, he's gonna get held, and we're gonna have the flag come in from the deep. So the question could be, is this fishing out of the pond or whatever? That's not the right end zone clip. Let's go back and look at this one. Like I said, you got nothing going on over here. So this deep can come over here and peek and help out. Remember, 6-man crew, we got to do what we can. And he's going to peek over and he's going to see this hold right here. It's an eligible receiver. Quarterback's looking in that direction. So that's actually where the flag comes in. So it's not a bad job. It's just one of those, if you're deep, you got no eligible receivers, go over here and peek, help these guys out. Because you got 3 receivers on one side. Really, if you count the tailback, you got a 4th receiver. So we need to help each other where we can on this play. And that's one of those where we do. So good job by the crew there. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at the action on the punter. Looks a little bad there. Let's look at the end zone view. Comes in unabated. He's not blocked into. We got no foul. There's no roughing. There's no running into. At the least here, we got to have running into. And I think we have a roughing the kicker call. Kicker still got that foot in the air. He's a defenseless player. And the defender's just going to run in that plant leg. That's a dangerous play on a punter. Anything close, safety fouls. Anything close, we gotta get him. So he does a good job there of picking that up, I think. We don't have any call here on the field, but we gotta have at least a running into on this. And I definitely would support a roughing the kicker. I think roughing is the actual correct call. Let's talk about some forward progress. We have a pass out here. He's caught it, and then he's caught, driven back. And we're going to give him forward progress. But as you can see, we stopped the clock. All right, we can't have both. If we're going to give him forward progress, which we do because he comes out of bounds about 25, we're going to run up and spot the ball at 23 and stop the clock. So we can't give him both. You can only give him one. Forward progress is the right call here, which means you would keep that clock running. So we would not stop the clock there. He's not out of bounds. Or if you deem him out of bounds, then you would need to spot the ball about right here. But correctly, this would be, we give him forward progress, he's caught it, and then driven back. And I would actually probably spot him about 21, 22 maybe. And then keep that clock rolling. Alright, this is not in Georgia. We're going to go outside the state a little bit here. But you see there's something wrong with this picture here. We have officials lined up on the cage restraining line, which is the 40. Yeah, we have the T at the 35 and K players at the 35. This is not moved back due to penalty. This was just cage restraining lines at 40. Kicking team decided they want to put the ball at 35 so they could do a little pooch play right here. Cannot do this. All right, the rule book says the ball must be placed on the tee, and the ball must be placed on cage restraining line. So unless moved back by penalty would be the 40. So tee's got to be here. Can't put it back here because this is an advantage. They're just going to pooch it right at the 50. That's that's an advantage. So let's remember that you have to place the ball on cage restrainer. Let's look at this one here. We're going to look at this action, this guy right here. This is also outside the state. Pretty vicious blindside block. Good job by the wing official here, or deep official maybe. Throwing that flag and continue to officiate. They called flagrant on this, and then it was overturned. I don't think it's a flagrant. It's definitely a blindside block. I think we all agree on that. But I wouldn't go as far as calling it flagrant. It looks like it gets him in the shoulder, shoulder to shoulder, at least shoulder to chest. But a little bit of a launch, maybe even a thrust. But it's a good job of the official picking that up and continuing to officiate. But I would not go as far as to say flagrant. Another play from outside the state. It was also in the vein of roughing the kicker. This one I think we're good at not calling, though. Kind of an odd punt formation. You see you got two potential punters back there. Ball's going to be snapped to one. They're both going to come out. It's kind of like rugby-style look. And then you got two punters out here. So it's kind of an odd look for the defense. And he's going to run, and then he's going to stop, establish a kick, and get hit. This would not be roughing the kicker. Remember, as long as he's running, he doesn't have protection until he reestablishes himself as a kicker, which he does late here. And then you add in that you had two punters back there. It kind of throws the defense for a loop. And it would be unfair from the defense to make them, have to worry about roughing the kicker here. So, and if you watch, it looks like he's kind of falling backwards before he even gets hit. So this would not be roughing the kicker. When they come out in their rugby style and they're running, they have no protection as far as defenseless goes until they reestablish themselves as a kicker. And then, you kind of want to give the defense a chance. Can the defense adjust? Does he have time to adjust? Does he have time to let up or whatever? So this here, the correct call would be a no call and continue on. All right. There's the last one. Back to Georgia, quarterfinal game. Here we're going to have the opening kickoff. Have a kick out of bounds. And then let's look at where the ball is placed next. Put the ball in the middle of the field. Kick out of bounds, put that ball in the hash. There's no instance where we would put the ball in the middle of the field. The team does not have the option of where to put it. It's got to be put on the hash it went out at. The only time we had the ball in the middle of the field after a kickoff is if the play ends in the middle of the field or we have a touchback. But kick out of bounds, we go to the hash that the ball went out of bounds at. That's it for this week. We have semifinals this week. Seasons are almost over. Good luck to all officials working the semis. If you're not working this week, thank you for the season. I've had a good one in Georgia. Remember, we need more officials to get out there and recruit. Just want to say good luck to all the officials working this week, and stay focused and stay sharp.